You're not going to lose weight the first day you're in the gym. The first week you're in the gym, you're not going to lose weight. But if you're consistently in the gym and you make the gym part of your habit, you make the going exercise and fitness and eating right part of your lifestyle, then your body will start to reflect your activities. Your outcomes are nothing more than a mirror reflection of what you're doing on a daily basis. Your results really tell you everything you need to know about your habits, and your habits tell you everything you need to know about your results. So if you ever want to look at the results and you really want to understand, because we act like it's all a mystery. Like, well, why do some people have wealth and some people don't? Why are some people getting richer and some people are getting poorer? Well, all you got to do is, if you want to solve that mystery, if you want to know why some people's wealth is going this way and some people's wealth is going that way, spend about 3 days watching their financial habits. Just watch what they do. Ladies, look, if you like a man, if you are interested in a man that has money, I was talking to my daughter about this yesterday. I said, I don't think there's nothing unnatural at all about women that want men that can provide financial security. I know that we got dusty people that want to call you gold diggers and all this other stuff, and I think that that's ridiculous because every single biology book on earth says that even female animals, even mammals, even like giraffes and zebras and gorillas, female gorillas don't sleep with dusty males. They just don't. They female lionesses don't want the lion who's got no territory. Giraffes, even female giraffes, believe it or not, they will pursue the male who has the most territory, who's responsible for something, because that is a sign of masculinity. That's a sign of good genetics. Now, I'm not saying that being broke means you can't date nobody. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that if you have this inclination where you suddenly realize, hey, I get real interested when a man can provide and protect, but when he can't provide and protect, I kind of just dry up emotionally and physically and otherwise. That's natural. There's nothing wrong with that, honestly. And I was talking to her about that, and I said, so if you really want to understand what a man got going on financially, or a woman, if you're a man, you don't want a woman that's going to drain all your money and everything else either. If you really want to understand where a person's going financially, look at their habits. Look at their day-to-day choices. Look at their thinking. Listen to them. Let them talk. Listen to how they talk about money. When they talk about getting more money, how do they process that? Do they think like an investor? Do they think like an investor? Sharon says if you're broke, you should not be dating. It's not my right to say that. I would never say if you're broke, you shouldn't be dating. I will say though that there was that scene in the Chris Rock movie. Anybody remember that? Where he said that you can lose a lot of money chasing women, but you'll never lose women chasing money. So I was never a guy who chased a lot of women. I chase money. I studied money every like a science. I said if I want to get some money, I better learn how the money works. And so I was in my doctoral program studying money and studying economics all day long, every single day, 7 days a week, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, including Christmas. I would study on Christmas Day. That's how serious I was about it, because I said if I want to win, I got to fight. Because I don't think this world is very nice to black men, and I don't believe in not being prepared. I just kind of think if you get your butt kicked and you're not ready, you got to kind of look in the mirror. So with that being said, let me tell you all something that's exciting to me. I mentioned to you all earlier that to be wealthy, you got to do what wealthy people do. And the Black Business School is an elite academy. This is a space for elite people. This is a space for people that are serious, that really want to do better in their lives. And here's the deal. Here's a stat. I mentioned this during our Powernomics training yesterday. Um, Basically, if you look at wealth, right? And we've talked about this in class. The number one driver of wealth is what? Type it in the chat. Type in the chat. And by the way, that if you type in the chat, that'll also let me know you can hear me. Somebody said they can't hear me. Whenever someone says I can't hear, I don't know what to do, because if no one can hear, then no one will respond. But a lot of you can hear. What's the number one driver of wealth in America? Okay, someone says time. Okay, someone says knowledge. All those things matter. Consistency. All that. Well, no, what's the number one place that people go to get wealth? There we go, Akila. Thank you. The stock market. Don't let nobody tell you different. I'm a researcher on this stuff. The stock market is where the money's at. So people literally, you could sit here and if you sat here and just told me that I've never ever bought stock in my life, that really in my head, that says well, that probably increases the chance that you're struggling financially by about 50% or more. Because who knows? Maybe all your money's in real estate and you're doing really well over there. That's possible. It's harder to get the cash flow in real estate, but still, okay. No, I'm not saying that you're out of the game. I'm saying that that's like somebody saying, if you say, well, what's the odds that you're in the NBA? And they say, well, I'm not going to tell you if I'm in the NBA or not, but I will tell you that I'm 5'9". Well, the odds of you not being in the NBA and you're 5'9", right in my head, that's increased the odds significantly that you're probably not an NBA player because not many NBA players are 5'9". But there are the Spud Webbs and the Muggsy Bogues he was 5'3", and there was the other guy Nate Robinson. He was a freak of nature. That guy, oh my God, his athletic ability was extraordinary. So you have the exceptions, but then you kind of have the rules that generally apply, right? So the same thing is true when you talk about wealth. If you tell me you're not in the stock market at all, that right there tells me that it's probably harder for you to have wealth because you've been pedaling against the wind uphill with flat tires on your bike. Anybody remember trying to get up a hill on your bike when your tires are flat and the wind is blowing against you like that? You got to be Superman to get up that hill. You ain't gonna win no bicycle race. If you're pedaling against the wind up a hill with flat tires and you're racing somebody who's going downhill, who's got full tires and the wind is at their back, you're not gonna win that race. It's gonna be hard. It's going to be hard. And that's pretty much what I see when it comes to the wealth thing. There are people that got the wind at their back, and we think, well, it's because they're white. There's no whites only sign on the stock market. I checked. I checked this morning just to make sure they didn't decide to just flip the clock back on us. I checked all the reports. I checked all the apps. Y'all got any whites only signs up in here? Y'all blocking the niggers? No, no, no. Robinhood said, no, no, we'll take your money. Money's always green, right? Like E-Trade. No, E-Trade's like, no, no, no. We took our whites only sign down yesterday. So Negroes are welcome here. All your money's welcome here. Was it boy? But anyway, my point is to say that at the end of the day, there are certain variables, certain decisions that are made that will lead to certain outcomes. Your outcomes are a reflection of your choices. Your choices are connected to your habits. That's what it is. That's what it is. So here's what I want to. This is the great news. This is what makes me proud of the Black Business School and the fact that we're elite. We're good. We're the best on earth at what we do. Um, the studies show that if you look at rich people, 88% of rich people invest in the stock market. That's what the studies show. If you look at poor people that are struggling financially, only about I want to say 20% of financially struggling people are in the stock market. In the Black Business School, 88% of you are in the stock market. 88% of you are in the stock market. So that means that you're either already doing well or you're going to be doing well or your wealth is growing as a result. So the fact that 76% of you have said that your wealth and your income have increased as a result of being in this class, and then you can join that with the fact that 88% of you are invested in the stock market, then that tells me not just so much about where you are, it tells me about where you're going and where you're going to be. Like remember everything, everything what was it? Olita Adams used to have that beautiful song. Everything must change, right? Everything is changing. You're always becoming something. And what you're becoming matters more than what you are. If I'm in a car, where I'm located matters far less than where I'm going. If I'm driving 70 miles an hour and I'm headed north, it doesn't matter if I'm in Tennessee now. In 2 hours, I'll be in Kentucky. Do you understand? So where you are now is not so important. What matters is where you're going. And even more importantly is where your children and your grandchildren are going. And so the fact that 88% of you are participating in the stock market, that gets me super excited for the next generation. And also that tells me what my job is. My job now is to do a couple of things. Number one, I need to go find the 12% of y'all that are still scared that haven't made a move yet. We're gonna fix that. We're gonna do a financial slumber party on how to buy your first share of stock or in how to dig deeper. And then the second level is all of you that are already in there and feeling mighty fine and feeling mighty proud of yourselves, snapping your overalls because you're the elite Negroes, like all we the new Negroes. No, you better stop. Stop snapping your overalls. You can do better. You can level up. I can level up. All of us can level up. So don't ever get so full of yourself that you don't think that there's more that you can do, that there's not another level you can achieve, that there's not another goal you can set, that there's not another tier you can reach. I've reached a lot of tiers, but I ain't done leveling up. I have not, by any stretch of the imagination, reached the potential of all the things I'm supposed to do on this planet. I haven't. I'm nowhere near it. I'm not even a shadow of the man that I know that I need to be in order to do my job completely. So I need you to kind of consider the same thing. Take it to the next level. There's always more you can do. There's always another notch you can take it to. And this is important because when you talk about the competition of economics, and I do, and I don't care what anybody tells you, economics is a competition. You're gonna have to fight, man. You're gonna have to really fight. You're gonna have to leave it on the court because this game, this man over here is not playing with you. I told you, you live in a country where you got thousands of people, millions of people that just worship money. They study money all day long. All they do, all these CEOs and that run these companies, all they do is they sit around and study ways to make more money and to build more wealth for their family. So this is your competition. So ultimately, I'm preparing you for the competition by saying, okay, let's get it together. Let's make it happen. So congratulations. You guys are already showing elite status. We're gonna go after that other 12%. The next time I do that survey, I do not want to see 88% because that's what white people do. We're not trying to be equal to white people. We're trying to be better than everyone. I want that number in at 95, 96, 97%. And that last 3%, that's maybe children or people who just came into class that day or something like that. We're gonna do this. We're going hard. So anyway, with that said, congratulations, great job, very proud of you. You have my respect for the progress that you've made. The last survey we took, the number was lower. Now we're up there where rich people are. So keep going with your bad self. All right. So here's another thing I wanted to talk about really quickly that was interesting. Just a few things that came to mind while I was on the treadmill. I decided I was going to do an extra mile on the treadmill this morning, so I had more time to talk. And so one thing that I was thinking about that I wanted to kind of drill into is right now with the stock market, you're seeing that there's a lot of volatility and there's a lot of dips and increases. I mean, it's just insane. I mean, one minute everything's flying high, the next minute it's crashing again, next minute it's flying high, next minute it's crashing. If you want to understand a way to kind of process this and a way to kind of look at this, I can tell you what the data says. I can tell you what history says. History says that buying the dip is the winning strategy long term. It does not mean that buying the dip is a winning strategy for every stock. Let's be clear about that. But it does. History and data says that if you have a diversified portfolio, buying the dip is the way to go across the board consistently. Now, here's the thing about buying the dip, though. Buying the dip is one of those things that may not show results for you in the first day, first week, or first month, or maybe even in a year. So sometimes you buy the dip and you feel stupid because it dips even further than the original dip, and you're like, man, I thought buying the dip was going to work. Well, here's the thing: if you allow enough time to pass historically and your portfolio is diversified, that's really important. You can't go buy that raggedy stock your cousin told you about. You can't go buy a bunch of penny stocks. You have to buy quality companies, S&P 500 companies, stuff like that. Not your niece's blessing loom that where she sent you the little email. You know, little emails like if you put in $500 and I put in $500, we all gonna have $50,000. I had a friend that told me that they did a little blessing loom in their family and it sounded real good because they use all the pro-black Jesus language. You know, God wants to bless us and all that. And let me tell you what happened. So they started this blessing loom in the family. And she said it got so bad that her cousin literally called her other cousin and said, if you don't give me back my $1,500, I'm gonna come over there with a gun and shoot everybody. That's how crazy it got. It literally they called it a susu. That's what she told me. She said they were calling it a susu. I said, that ain't no damn susu. That's a lie. That is not a susu. You're giving susus a bad name. Susus ain't got nothing to do with, well, you got to go recruit two people and then those two people got to recruit two people. No, no, a susu is not a Ponzi scheme. Stop giving susus a bad name. Susus are a really healthy, conservative way to form group economics. The only thing susus are missing is compound interest. That's why susus should have an investing element, but that is not a damn susu. So you got people out here out misappropriating, like was it cultural appropriation? Like literally misappropriating, flat out lying, spreading fake news about what healthy investing looks like. And then what happens is people are like, oh, well, I did a susu and I lost all my money because my cousin. Well, because it wasn't a susu. It was called a Ponzi scheme. They've had those for thousands of years. They named it after an Italian guy. I think the first Ponzi scheme was started by a man named Ponzi, if I'm not mistaken, like 700 years ago. So people have been suckers for 600 or 700 years. So yes, susus do work. Susus, that's all that is a way of people just compiling their money together. Susus are healthy. That susu, the ghetto susu, avoid the ghetto susus. The ghetto susus don't work. You'll just be sad and you'll be mad. And next thing you know, cousin Pookie will be coming over with a gun, and that you don't need that. All right. So anyway, with that said, um, so buying the dip typically historically works when it comes to diversified portfolios of healthy assets. So if you let enough time pass, typically, where how no matter how deep the dip has gone, the dip eventually reemerges. I say that because there's a lot of uncertainty right now. Nobody knows what's going to happen with this president. Nobody knows what's going to happen with the tariffs. Nobody right now, we're in danger of what they call stagflation, which is where inflation is higher because of the tariffs, but yet you have an economic slowdown. That could be just bad news. And so it could be a little bit messy, but if you're a dip buyer, it'll give you many opportunities to buy dips. And all throughout history, there's never been a time where the whole stock market has gone down and not recovered. Sometimes it takes time. It may even take years, but dip buyers tend to do well. The other thing, in fact, a lot of people don't even know how much money people made during the Great Depression. The Great Depression was one of the biggest money makers of all time. I think that's when the Kennedys made a lot of their money. Now they were bootlegging liquor and stuff too. They were kind of, into all kinds of stuff. But still, like, the Great Depression was a great money maker for a lot of people. All right, so the other thing I wanted to address and speak on really quickly is there was a conversation about possibly the formation of a strategic crypto reserve by the president. They wanted to grab some cryptos, Bitcoin and Cardano and XRP and a couple others. I think I can't remember the other ones. And they wanted to sort of pile this strategic reserve and it was really a political favor. It's a political favor to the people that got Trump elected, and the crypto guys were the ones who pulled together hundreds of millions of dollars to get him into office. And they said, when you get in office, here's what we need you to do. They kind of did what I think black people really should be doing, which is giving instructions to the politicians. We'll get you elected. We'll give you our votes and give you some money. We don't have as much money as we have votes. Our votes are more than the money. And the problem is that in America, it's the money that tends to drive the decision making, not the voters. The voters are seen more so as a commodity or like a pawn, whereas the money people are the ones who are seen as the ones who actually expect something, a return on their investment. I think that for us, we should really look at our vote as a type of currency that's given to politicians in exchange for something else. But anyway, the strategic reserve was kind of created out of that. It shot up the price of crypto. The prices of cryptos have gone down. I personally think they're going to come back up soon. I think they're doing a crypto conference at the White House or something. And because they like, bright, shiny stuff, they like to make big, shiny announcements that move the markets. I think they're going to make a big, shiny announcement at this conference that's going to lift crypto prices. So for what it's worth, feel free to take a look. What I'm consistently doing is I'm just buying a little bit more every day, consistently adding to my stockpile. I'm building my Boyce Watkins strategic reserve of crypto and just kind of preparing for when I think these announcements are going to come out. And also Bitcoin is just so beautiful. It has such a beautiful setup. It's different from the other cryptos. The other cryptos, the complaint really is that when Trump adds XRP and Cardano to the mix of the strategic reserve, he's making specific people rich because these are not decentralized currencies, whereas Bitcoin is truly decentralized. And all the dynamics in Bitcoin. I mean, there are people talking about Bitcoin being over 1 million. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So accumulating some Bitcoin now, especially given the price has dipped, I think that that's worth taking a look at. Not telling you what to do. Not, this is not investing advice, but that's something that I'm actually doing myself. All right. So another thing I want to mention here too is I want to talk about some of these boycotts really quickly. I don't. I know a lot of you have seen Target. People talking about boycotting Target and Jamal Bryant, who is a very nice guy. I met him in Ghana. When I was in Ghana, he was there, T.I. was there, so somebody else was there, I forgot, a couple other people. And anyway, I talked to him for a long time, and I don't dislike the guy, but sometimes, politically, I kind of think, I don't know, I kind of feel like if I go to church, I want my pastor to tell me about God. I don't want my pastor telling me about the Democrats and Republicans. I can get that somewhere else, but that's where we disagree. But he's a smart man. I respect him. But here's one thing that he was mentioning, and a lot of people have mentioned this, is he talked about doing a 40-day fast from Target, right? Like, I guess for Lent or whatever the holiday is, like, I guess it's 40 days for Lent or something like that. And he was talking about doing a fast with Target. And I was like, well, there's nothing wrong with fasting from Target. I mean, okay, sure. Target cut their DEI programs. I think that DEI, even though it benefited non-black people more than anybody else, still, I think the world's better with DEI than not having DEI, 100%. But one of the things that's interesting to me is something really felt weird about this boycott thing, and I was like, guys, I don't know what bothers me about it. Now, here's the thing: I don't dislike the idea of boycotting Target for 40 days, but I thought about it and I said, it's interesting to me that the same people who will boycott Target for 40 days don't realize that some of y'all have been boycotting black-owned businesses for 40 years. There's nobody that boycotts the black-owned business more than black people, other than maybe white people. Everyone boycotts black-owned businesses, right? You boycott black-owned businesses so much that you don't even realize it's a boycott. You don't even announce it. You're just like, we're just not giving you our money. Why would we give our money to a black person? Oh my God. Like, black, you're not supposed to be producing anything. You're a consumer. That's all you do. And so I think that in the spirit of economic love, and we've talked about what economic love means. Economic love means that if I love you, I'm gonna make it rain on you. If I love you, I'm gonna support you. If I love you, I'm gonna provide for you. If I love you, I'm gonna make sure you're economically safe. So in the spirit of economic love, I almost feel like it could be just as if not more productive to, instead of talking about the things that we're against, talk about the things that we're for. Instead of talking about the things we hate, let's talk about the things that we love. Instead of talking about who we're mad at, let's talk about who we like the most, right? Because I really believe it's just like a relationship, like if you break up with your ex and all you do is spend all your time talking about how much you hate your ex and how much you want them to be unhappy and I lost weight and I'm gonna show them now because now I'm looking good and whatever, then how can you really love another person when you're spending all your time trying to get revenge on your ex? You don't have energy to love anybody because you're spending all your energy being mad at somebody else, which really to some extent people would say that actually means you love them. You really love them. There's a thin line between love and hate. You are emotionally entangled. So never date somebody who spends all their time talking about their ex like that. That pretty much means that they're still connected. There's still a connection there. There's a quantum entanglement there that they haven't overcome. And with that being said, I know we love white people. We really do. They're our first love. They took our virginity. And we just it's like, endless love, my endless love, right? It's an abusive relationship. It's definitely Ike and Tina. What's love got to do with it? But we keep coming back because we really need that validation. But I personally think maybe we can take that time to fall in love with ourselves and fall in love with our potential, fall in love with our dream of what we can be if we work hard and build these businesses. Fall in love with what we can do. If I have a couple of dollars, I can really change another black person's life if I target my dollars that way. If I give my dollars to that rich white man, I mean, he don't need my money. It's like when Dr. Dre I mean, he was heated when I wrote this article about the money he gave. Anybody remember that? Where he gave all that money to USC, him and Jimmy Iovine. I think Jimmy's I don't know if he works for Apple or music or something. He's a music industry guy. And they gave all this money to USC, like 70 million or something like that. And there was a really smart HBCU president who I admire immensely, named Kimbrough. I think his name was Kimbrough. I don't know if he's where he's the president now, but if anybody knows him, tell him good job, black man. He wrote a great article. He's much more diplomatic than I, and he wrote this really awesome article where he said, "Come on, man, like $70 million would have changed." Like you could literally change the whole trajectory of an HBCU with that donation. USC doesn't even need that money. I think they literally might spend $70 million in a week. I got to double check their budget, but their budget is massive. Has anybody ever seen USC? USC is like it's like when in the Wizard of Oz when you got to the Emerald City, that's what USC is. Like they're rich they're so rich. And they're like, we don't want black people here unless you're here to play basketball or play football or something. We don't really want you here to like actually teach or anything or run the school. We just need y'all to come here and jump and run because that's what y'all are good at. But anyway, with that donation, I remember I wrote an article about it and I said, gosh, this is so crazy that it's seen as radical to say like, man, like you could change 100,000 people's lives with a $70 million donation to an HBCU. Like if the HBCU is a good steward of those resources, they will literally graduate 100,000 kids in the next like 50, 60, 70 years. Whereas at a USC, they're gonna pretty much forget that you gave the money. You'll be donor number 3,458 or something on their list. And so this is what I mean when I talk about economic love. And I know Dr. Dre was not happy with the article, and the reason I know that is because I met his friend. I met a guy. There's this guy named Alonzo in LA. I went to South Central to speak at Molena Karanga's bookstore, and this guy came up. His name was Alonzo. It's really fascinating. And Alonzo introduced Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, and MC Ren, and like he introduced all these people. So he has this book called NWA Not Without Alonzo. And I was like, and he sent it to me. I said, this is perfect. Like it's like God's little plan, like that it's not without that's smart. But anyway, so Alonzo said, he said, yeah, I shared your article on my page and Dr. Dre blocked me. He doesn't talk to me anymore. So I guess he was upset, but I didn't mean to pick on him for it. I just kind of felt like, come on, like, can we process this a little bit? Can we like sit back and really have some financial consciousness and really think about the power of money, the fact that we don't have as much money as we'd like to have, and that it's really the strategic deployment of money that is essential to the preservation of resources. If you are not strategic in where you apply your resources will be wasted. Right. So this is the danger of like the imagery in hip hop, go to the club, throwing money around or whatever. That's the unstrategic allocation of resources, which leads to financial destitution and economic desperation. That's not what we want. So rather than just boycotting Target for 40 days, let's stop boycotting black owned businesses. Let's focus on what we love and pour some money into our businesses. Because in a way, it's almost like I think about it. If you think about like that abusive relationship analogy, it's almost like if I'm in a relationship and my spouse is beating me up every day, and then I say I'm mad at you, I'm not gonna have sex with you until you stop beating me up because you went too far. You pulled out a knife and stabbed me. Now I'm not gonna sleep with you for a month or something. What I'm implicitly saying is that this is still yours. You still own me, so to speak. I'm still yours, but I'm just holding it back and preserving it to renegotiate this relationship. When you change your behavior, it's all yours again. You can have it again. You can have all the good stuff again, right? And that's kind of what we're doing. When we say to Target, we're going to boycott you until you change your behavior. What we're saying is that our black dollars don't belong to us. Our black dollars belong to you. Do you understand? Does that make sense? Right? That we're saying that when you act right, then we're gonna go right back to giving you everything. And that is interesting to me because you're using the boycott as a way to renegotiate an unhealthy relationship, a toxic relationship to begin with. You're renegotiating a toxic relationship instead of asking the more conscious, more intelligent question, which is, should I be in this relationship in the first place? Should I even be with you? Are you even the right person for me? Am I spending so much energy trying to find the right way for me to love you and earn your love that I'm ignoring the person over here who really does love me? Because I'm gonna tell you like this: look, Target ain't really gonna do a whole lot for the black community. Y'all know that. They're gonna probably, they'll get a couple of little Negroes, their little products in the store. Love Tabitha Brown. She's great, right? She's awesome. I love her. I love her little country voice. Her voice reminds me of like cinnamon and molasses. She's like, baby, you got to. And I'm like, man, I wish my mama had a voice like that. I just love Tabitha Brown. But Tabitha Brown getting her products on the shelves at Target is not a flex or a win for the black community. That's a flex and a win for Tabitha Brown. God bless her for that. But I will tell you this, while Target is not really gonna do anything really to elevate the condition of the black community in a significant way, that black owned business is gonna take that money that you give them and they're gonna go hire some black people. Do you understand? They're gonna, I'm gonna tell you, black economic consciousness, it's not where I think it needs to be, but it has elevated a lot in the last 10 or 15 years. Like you got people out here that are like black, bliggity black all day long, every day. And it's growing. It's kind of a thing now. It's not. It used to be something where you had to kind of stay in the closet. Like you go back about 15 years and I've been doing this stuff like online for a little bit since like '07, '08. Back to that time, it was like, wait, why are you so pro-black? That's bad. You can't be pro-black. Like, what's wrong with you? Now it's like everybody gets it. Even the celebrities are kind of getting it. So in my view, why not take those dollars and multiply those dollars by giving those dollars to businesses that are going to recirculate those dollars in your community? They'll take that $1 and share it 5 times so that $1 becomes $5. So your wealth multiplies when you support black owned businesses. With Target, you spend $1, you're gonna get $1 worth of stuff, and the stuff that you get won't even be worth the dollar that you gave away, and you'll never see that dollar again because it's going to go into another community where they're going to circulate it amongst themselves. So we have to think about where these dollars are going. So I would almost say that rather than just boycotting a toxic relationship, I think that it might be better. Like again, if you're thinking about like your ex that beats you up every day and you want to teach him a lesson, maybe instead of focusing on trying to make them act right, maybe you just grab your bags, walk out the door, and go down to see the woman or the man that really loves you. Go see them. Give them an opportunity. Give them a chance. The black business owners love you. Some of y'all are black business owners in here, and I think that you deserve the attention of the black community. Because look, if we don't do it, who will? If we don't do it, nobody else will. There's no one else on this planet who's going to support black owned businesses other than black people. So if black people are already boycotting black owned businesses, then black owned businesses don't have a chance because ain't nobody else going to do it. So that's my other thought. The last thought I had that I wanted to share, and then I'm gonna let y'all go, is I was thinking about this too in terms of ownership. These are things that go through my head. And that's what we do every morning. Just in case this is in case you're new, this is what we do. We just talk about financial stuff because this is conversational learning. I think you can learn about economics by just us having these discussions, different ways to kind of look at things. And by the way, if you're not on the text list for this class, pull out your phone, text the word morning to the number 87948. So text morning to 87948. And I'll send you a link if you want to join. If you want to learn something like stock options or something, in addition to Money in the Morning, we also have something called Money in a Minute, where you can learn things in the flow of your day. And Money in a Minute is where I'll send you a little lesson every single day for 30 straight days on some topic. And so if you want to learn stock options, I'll send you a link and you can join Money in a Minute stock options. So it takes maybe 3 minutes to go through the little lesson, and then each day you'll learn a little bit more, and then you'll know some things by the end of the 30-day period. So text the word morning to the phone number 87948, and I'll send that to you later on today. All right. The last thing I was thinking about was I was talking to my wife about professions and careers, right? We were talking about um one of the kids and what she wanted to do for a career. And one of the things that I was thinking about and reflecting on is is something that I heard a European person say to me. They said that Americans are different from the rest of the world because because Americans, we define ourselves by our jobs. Like we really look, we whatever job we have, we feel like that's our measure of success. Like it becomes part of your identity, right? And I think that it was how she said it. She said, yeah, she wants to become a chiropractor. And I was like, what does that mean? I'm going to become a chiropractor. That almost sounds like I'm going to be something different from what and I thought about it. And I was like, I don't want to be a chiropractor. I don't want to be a medical doctor. I want to be Boyce. Like why can't you just be who you are and then your job or your profession is just maybe an extension of that, or maybe your job or your profession, that's how you make your money. But I was like, and then we were talking about our youngest, and I said, I don't know, I mean, I guess it's great that she wants to be a chiropractor, but she really loves dancing. Like she loves dancing and singing and performing. So if anything, I'd see her as a dancer. um, I almost feel like her becoming a chiropractor is like fitting a square peg into a round hole. Now these are privileged conversations because you have to have resources to be able to truly just do whatever you want to do, right? So that's being said, I want all of us to have black privilege. I want all of us to be able to bless our kids with black privilege. I think black privilege is a thing. It starts with love, and then maybe you add in some economic love, and next thing you know, black privilege has been created. Black privilege is not given by white people. Black privilege is created by black people. So in that spirit, I thought about it and I said, I don't know if we should all be defining ourselves by what profession we're going to have. I think that my goal for her is I want her to understand money well enough to possibly have a black-owned business so she can make enough money to be whatever she wants to be, whatever that means, right? And I thought about it, and I thought about how we train kids, and I said, it's interesting that we train our kids to get that black job when they grow up, right? That term black job became a thing. Everybody's talking about this is my black job. And it, it kind of became an interesting conversation. And I was like, isn't it interesting that most black jobs are actually owned by white people? So we prepare our kids their whole lives. We spend our whole lives getting them ready, just like Coming to America, where that lady, that beautiful lady, was trained her whole life to serve the prince. We train our whole lives to serve the person the white guy who owns our black job. And then they come to us and they say, I've got this black job that I own. I'm going to allow you to borrow this black job so you can make enough money to survive. And I said, well, what if instead of training our kids to access a white owned black job, we can train them to be a part of or to own a black owned business, right? What does that look like? Right? Not to say everyone has to be the boss or the CEO. I'm saying, like, what if I train my child to say, yeah, you can get you a white owned black job. Like you can go get a black job working for Amazon. You can get a black job working for Ford. You can get a black job working for Google. But maybe we also talk about you creating a black owned business. It might be a little bit smaller. It's not a multi-billion dollar company, but you get to keep a large percentage of the money and you get to eat what you kill, right? And if you're really good at hunting, then you can eat better in your black owned business than you can in your white owned black job because you're getting paid on two levels. You're getting paid in terms of your income that comes in today, but you're also getting something that your boss is taking from your black job, which is capital gains. Now, does everyone know what capital gains are? Give me a yes if you know what capital gains are. Capital gains are basically how the value of an entity increases the more you pour into it. It's investment. Our DEI program, development, entrepreneurship, and investment. Things you invest in grow. When they grow, that is a capital gain. I have a company, UPS, started in 1921 by two teenagers delivering packages on their bicycles 100 years ago. because they were devoted to this business and poured into it and invested consistently, eventually they expanded and had more people investing. Now they've got thousands of employees all around the world, and this company's worth at least $250 billion, probably more than that. Right? That's a capital gain. A capital gain is where you have an entity and you're pouring into it, and over time, after you poured a lifetime of energy into it, and other people have too, you have something bigger than what you started off with. So when you are training the child to at least know that the black-owned business is an option that they can have, that everybody should have the right to be free. You should never tell somebody that you have to go work for somebody else. You ain't got to do nothing. You ain't got to do nothing. You always have a choice. It might be a hard choice. It might be a choice that requires sacrifice, but everybody's got a choice. Introduce them to the idea of the capital gain and help them understand that if I'm a black entrepreneur and I'm pouring into my business and I'm making it a good business and I'm working with other business owners and team members to make this thing the best it can be, I'm getting paid even if I didn't make any money. I'm getting paid even if I didn't make a profit this week. My value of my enterprise goes up with every week I commit to this institution. Every time I pour into it. And the same thing is true with other institutions in your life, like your family. Every time you sit down and have a conversation with your kids, every time you teach them something new, every time you prepare them for the future, every time you get them to work together as a team, every time you talk about what the future will look like and they're planting that in their brain, you're adding to your capital gain. You're increasing the value of the family. Because here's the thing, here's what's beautiful about kids. I'm gonna tell you, I just love black kids because I just think that our kids are so precious and valuable, and we forget that sometimes because we only think about the cost of raising these little suckers or how many headaches there might be or whatever. But let me just tell you this. I remember when I was little, and my mother used to say little stuff to us like, one day you're going to buy me a beach house. Like, it would be like a joke or whatever. One day y'all gonna buy me a beach house, and you know, or whatever, or like my father would say, you know, you should never steal from family. Family should stick together. These were little value systems that stuck in our head, right? And so years later, I got together with my siblings and we did stuff together. We didn't get to buy Mama the beach house, but we did buy Mama a lot of nice stuff. We did pay off her house together, and we did a few other things, right? And then on top of that, we've done business together. And me and my siblings, we've done okay, right? And a lot of this came from these core values that were taught to us when we were kids. So it made the family much more stable as time went on. But the thing about children is that children are just like any other asset. If you have an asset and you don't invest in it, it's not going to grow. Capital gains are contingent on you pouring into the asset that you value, right? So if I value that child, I'm not just going to have a bunch of kids and just leave them there and have them just not learning and not growing and not being loved and not being supported. I'm going to pour into them. If I start a business, I'm not just going to start my LLC and just have it sit there. I'm going to pour into it. And that gives me access to capital gains. And I think this is why I think that our kids, just as a general rule, should just be introduced to all the different economic options, starting with the ability to own, operate, and build a black-owned business. Because the concept of the capital gain, I don't know about anybody else, but I didn't even know what capital gains were until I started studying finance. Did nobody talk about that? Nobody talked about all the different ways that you can build wealth and get paid. Nobody helped me. I didn't understand that maybe you might have a guy who's running a business where he might have only made $30,000 last year, but he's doing better than all his friends that are making $100,000 on the corporate plantation. Why? Well, because he got the capital gain. Remember, you can't pass that job to your kids. That black job is a white-owned entity. That's a white-owned asset. You're being allowed to occupy a seat at a table that does not belong to you. And I told you the best way to get a seat at the table is to learn how to build a table. So I think we should train our kids to be builders rather than beggars. I really believe that. But building is not, it's not always as sexy. Building requires a certain amount of sturdiness in your character. Building requires consistency. Building requires patience. Building requires delayed gratification. And the thing about it is all these are just investing principles. Because that's all investing is. Investing is building something. You're pouring into something. Like you're investing right now by sitting here listening to me when you could be off watching Hulu or Netflix. So what are you investing in? continue to invest in it, and then make sure that at the end of the day that you own a piece of the things that you're investing in. And that's how wealth is built. That's what wealth is. All wealth is an accumulation of capital that you have acquired by making various investments throughout your life. So if you've been working your whole damn life and you've been busting your butt every day on that job, kicking ass and taking names and showing up to work on time and working to the point of exhaustion, and you can't point to anything that you own, I hate to say it, but that could mean that you might have been bamboozled like the rest of us. You might have got tricked. You might have got tricked. So let's not pass this curse to the children. Let's make sure the babies understand all their economic options. Options are everything. Anyway, all right. That's it, guys. Hope you have a great day. Thank you guys for listening. And just a reminder, we have financial workbooks for kids. If you want to get financial workbooks for your children, you can go to financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. Use that code morning70, and that'll take a ton off the price. So you can, again, I'm inviting you guys to make it into a business. You can buy them from us for like $12, and you can literally go sell them for $30 or $40. I'm okay with that, right? I think that's kind of cool. I thought about it and I was like, yeah, we could be like a wholesaler, like a distributor or something. So that's kind of what we're doing. That's what we're trying, and you guys seem to like it. So let's just keep it going. And thank you for filling out the survey. I might send it out. I might text it out one more time. If you could, if you didn't fill it out, if you could, that would be really helpful. That way we can know how to make things better and what's working and what's not. And I want to see real results. I don't just want to be up here having everybody look at me and getting attention. I don't care about attention. I care about results. I care about progress, right? And I want to be able to point to the progress. Okay. So anyway, the workbook link is financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. And the code is morning70. Put it in the checkout and it'll take 70% off the price. Morning70, all one word. All right. Have a good day, everybody. God bless you. I'll see you all